Hello everyone, this is Peyton, and today I'm going to be walking through for a tutorial on how to use Equation Editor for Math 335 number theory to better format our assignments for the rest of the semester and the way that Dr. Cow expects them. So I'm just going to be working through a couple of the problems from the first assignment and just how I formatted and used Equation Editor to make my assignment look professional, I guess. But So this was number 2 from the first assignment, and we had let x and y be integers. Suppose that x squared plus y squared is even, then x plus y is even. So our proof, we actually proved this by contradiction. So we first write, we prove by contradiction. We prove this by contradiction. Contradiction. There we go. And then we have if x squared plus y squared is even, then x plus y is even. So one thing I'll recommend is if you go to the Insert tab and you right-click on Equation Editor, I already have mine in the Quick Access, so I'm just going to remove it really quick. But if we add the Equation Editor to our Quick Access toolbar, what that allows us to do is access Equation Editor here from this top ribbon. So then we have x squared plus y squared is even. So if we go into Equation Editor, we click on Script, we pull up Superscript, which was the first option. We want to go in here and type x squared plus y. Oops, I messed up, but that's not a big deal. If I highlight y, I can just do script and it'll put y in my base. So y squared, and then we want to get out and type is even, then x plus y is even. So I'm going to go back into Equation Editor when I'm working with variables or part of the problem that we want to present nicely. For in a mathematical standpoint, we just want to go into Equation Editor and type x plus y, exit Equation Editor, is even. Next we have suppose that x plus y is odd, because we are proving this by contradiction, which doesn't really matter for the course of this video, but we're going to go back into Equation Editor. We're going to show that x plus y is odd. So I'm going to type x plus y equals 2k plus 1. Where, and to make k look nice while we're typing it, just go into Equation Editor, is an integer. So I kind of want this to stick out from the rest of my proof so far, the text, the explanation of what we're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the beginning of the line, and I'm going to do the top of these two arrows up here on the ruler. It's called the first line indent if you hover over the top of it, and if you click and drag this, you can set it somewhere where you think looks nice, somewhere about here for me. And then I'm just going to copy some more stuff over very quickly. See, I want to realign this, so I just go back up to this first line indent and I align it. I want this to be a little bit further offset from this. So I'm going to leave that alignment. But the important thing is you just align it in a way that you think looks nice and presentable. Then I'm going to go through the actual meat of this proof. We have messed up again, but that's all right. X squared plus y squared is, oops, I don't want that to be an Equation Editor, is even. So another important thing is when you're using Equation Editor, especially like in a line like this, you don't need to use spaces in Equation Editor, but before you go into Equation Editor, so after if, I would hit space, and then after I finish my equation in Equation Editor, hit space again, just to make the spacing right. Otherwise, it all runs together kind of like this, and it doesn't look as nice. And while you're in Equation Editor, a big suggestion that I'll give you is to use your arrow keys on your keyboard. I found that easier than trying to click exactly where I wanted to be in Equation Editor. It's also nice for entering and leaving Equation Editor. If I'm in Equation Editor and I just tap, I'm at the end of Equation Editor and I tap once right on the arrow keys, you're out of Equation Editor. Then you would just use this line indent thing again. First line indent, drag it over, format it like that. Let's go through something a little bit different. I found my summation didn't look right at first, so I'm going to touch on that. I think it was because it was like in a line, so I'm just going to put it in a line really quick. Space. Go into summation. See here how it the upper and lower indexes don't really align the way that we're used to seeing them. But X, and I'm going to put it actually as X to the K. Highlight X, maybe not. I'm just going to go back and delete this X. But that's not the way I want it to look. So what I figured out is if I just hit enter, boom, it makes it a lot better present. It looks a lot better, a lot cleaner. The formation or the formatting's right. And one thing that you may notice while you're playing with it is that you want something to look a little bit bigger, you just go back to the home and you increase the font size. It looks a little bit more presentable. I found that to be the case when I was working with fractions and exponents in my fractions in the numerator or denominator. But the big thing is I would just try to separate your text here in explanations, and I would set aside kind of indent where you're actually working something out. Other than that, oh yeah, we have our box to like let Dr. Cow know we're done with the proof. So if you go back into insert and you go where's shapes, there's shapes, and I was just using a rectangle. At the beginning of the assignment, I drew one rectangle kind of in a box shape, and I outlined it in black and filled it in black, and then this is how I was identifying that I was done with the proof. And when you're working through the assignment from problem to problem, I would just copy and paste this box and move it to where you need it to show that you're done with the proof. That way it's consistent the entire way through the proof. Also in equation editor, if we go in here, a lot of the symbols that we're going to be using, like there's some that are on your keyboard, obviously, plus, minus, multiplication, if you want to actually have like a division sign. There is that, but here we have like the element of, so like when we say is z, or say n is an element in the list of all integers, use that. Kind of just play around with it, get comfortable with it. I'm not entirely sure what needs to be included in this video, what doesn't. So if there's any more questions or whatever, just let me know or let Dr. Cow know, and I'll do my best to help you get comfortable with Equation Editor. It's something that you have to play around with and get a little bit more familiar with, and things will get easier over time. Use your arrow keys while you're in it, and use these structures to help you put exponents on stuff, things in fractions, summations, radicals, stuff like that. But really, it'll make your assignment a lot easier and it'll look a lot nicer in the long run. So, other than that, thanks for watching, and I hope it helps.